We are back in the gym for another Wednesday night building up the bench press. This is my road back to 225 pounds, and this is her road to whatever we could get her to. We're going to add more volume into the bench. We were talking and decided that doing sets of 5 to 50% and then doing singles up to our top set for a set of 5, the weights just are not heavy enough to really cause a good enough stimulus to be able to progress from that, at least fast enough like we want. We're not in a rush to get super strong, super fast. It takes time. But like if you have a heavy enough stimulus, you don't need a lot of volume. So if you're squatting 4, 5, 600 pounds, you could get away with doing doubles, singles, and triples. If you're benching in the mid to high 400s, you can get away doing singles, doubles, and triples. It's enough load and stimulus to be able to cause a change, to be able to develop strength, depending on what peaking phase, what hypertrophy phase, what mesocycle you're running, what program you're on, depending on what it calls for. But since we're going so light, we're going to get more volume in and get more work under the barbell to build up that volume and that capacity to be able to like handle heavier weights. There is no one road to where you want to be. Like, there's multiple roads. There's so many different paths you can take. The ultimate goal is just progressing, getting stronger, getting bigger, getting better. And these are all just tools in the toolbox. It's all about signal signaling. So it doesn't matter if you're doing singles or triples or doubles or sets of 5, or you're doing this program or that program. It's what program are you going to put the most amount of effort into? What program can you stick to? And what program do you find the most enjoyable to do? Because that's the one that you're going to stick to and you're going to put the most amount of effort into. I'm always more on the technical side of things, where it's just like, I want to have fun while I'm in here, but also the more important thing to me is the progress. So I will change up programming regardless of what I like more to make sure that it's progressing forward. So that's what I'm doing right now. So we're going to hit a lot more volume, which is going to be brutal on deadlifts and squats, but there's also going to be a lot more carryover for that too. But also with this program, we're going to be using the same weight, the same reps for 3 weeks in a row before we go up in weight. It'll be a 3-week mesocycle, and then we go up in weight is what we're going to be doing. And also it gives you a lot more time under the barbell, and I know you like benching. It's going to help you get more familiar with being under it.
Down.
Yeah, be a lot more time under there to really hone it in. So tonight I'm actually going up in weight too, so I'm getting closer and closer to 225. Let me see what I'm actually going up to tonight. Tonight I'm going to go up to 240. I'm going to go up to 155 tonight. So inching my way back to the 200s. And to be clear, this is not my first set. This is just, I want to feel if anything on my shoulders or elbows or my back is kind of knotted or kinked up. So that's just kind of let me feel the weight, feel the bar in my path. Now I'm going to move into actually starting my weight. In fact, I got to get my pad here. What did you do?
Last week, 65.
Okay. So here's the way that this is going to work.
And to be clear, that was my first set.
You did 10? You're supposed to do 10. 10, 10. 8, 8, 6, 6. Too late now. Don't lay back under it. Is what it is.
Oh,
All right. So look, here's the way I'm going to give
that
you.
was my wrong.
So look, check this out. We do 8 sets. So tonight I'm working up to 155, right? So here's how we program this, 155. And we're going to work backwards. So I'm going to say I'm going to start off with 65 pounds for my first set. Oh, 65 pounds, you're such a weak bitch. Yes. Yes, I am. All right, so I write down my end weight, I write down my starting weight, and now I have to fill in the next 6 sets with what I feel is an appropriate jump up to this. And then the higher your top number goes, the bigger the jumps are going to become. So now I'm going to work backwards to 65. So let's see, 155, We'll go 135. No, 145. 35. So that's 4. 35. 25. Let's see, 85. 105. All right. So the way that I did this is I wrote down, I know y'all heard, I'm going to repeat it. My first set and then my last set. Now this is how you start this programming, right? And once you get this, then every time you adjust, it's so much easier. So then what I did is I just filled in working backwards from my top set. So from 155 down to 65, I filled in for 8 sets, working my numbers back. Of course, I'm gonna make bigger jumps in the beginning because it's gonna be lighter, and then smaller jumps towards the end where it's getting heavier. And then what's gonna happen in 3 weeks from now when I go up in weight, my 155, let's say, turns up to 165. I can leave all the numbers where they are, or I can adjust everything up by 5 or 10 or 15 or whatever, however big my jump is, I can adjust up until I get a decent starting weight. So let's say my starting weight gets back up to 135 pounds in my first set, right? Then everything else will be adjusted but that top set, or that very first set. That'll always be 135, and then my top set will be adjusted up to what my new numbers are, and then I'll have to fill in the 6 sets in between the first and the last set. But you already know where you're going, and you know where you're starting, so that all you have to do is look at your numbers. So I jumped up by 20 pounds, so let me jump this one up by 20, this one by 20, this one by 20, this one by 15, this one by 15, this one by 10. And you just adjust it up, and you'll do this every mesocycle until you start your peaking phase. So it's pretty simple. Okay, so for you, you're starting with 45. Okay, so I'm gonna mark you down here, 45, and then you're gonna end you at 65. We'll put you to 75 because you're at 65, so we're gonna go to 75. Okay.
Yeah, I've been at 65 the last 2 weeks.
Okay, so we'll go to 75. Okay, 75. So now we got to fill in the back. So we could go 75, 70, 65. 60, 55, 50, and there's your 6 sets.
Yeah.
So 75, 70, 65, 60, 55.
No, you did it right. You may just have to.
Yeah, you'll do 45 twice.
Yeah.
You'll do 45 for your first 2 sets of 10. You'll do the 45. Okay. So now every week for the next 3 weeks, these are the numbers that we hit for those sets with those reps, and then we'll increase it. And then all of our assistants work after this. We try to do progressive overload. So every single week when we get done with this, everything we do after this, we're trying to get at least 1 more rep or 1 more pound every single week. And then when we have a lift stall, we'll come back in, try it again, and if it stalls again or goes down, we'll either reduce the load. So let's say we're doing incline dumbbell press with 70s, and then let's say you hit 15 reps. Next time you come in, you hit 12 reps. And it's like, man, I hit less with the 15, and I came in and hit even less with the 12s. You have 2 options. You can either change that out for a different lift, or you can just reduce the weight by 40% and then build back up. So either way works. I've done it both ways, but if you're gonna switch it out, you have to switch it for something very similar. So if you're gonna go from incline dumbbell press, you wanna go to like dumbbell press. If you're doing dips, you wanna change out to something more decline and stuff like that. So like I said, whatever you change it to, you want something similar but different enough that you can grow into that lift. And then once that lift stalls out, you go back to the other lift. And then you build back into that lift, and you just teeter-totter, going back and forth. And if you don't want to change the exercise out, you just reduce your load by 40%, and then you build back into it, giving your body a break to adapt and build back in. And then you're going to get back to that number a lot faster, obviously. And then when you get back there, you should be able to push through and break through your plateau. Because sometimes your body honestly just needs a break, and then when you build back up, it pushes through. I've never had an issue doing it either way anytime whenever I program like this and stuff like that. So, but these are our numbers for the next 3 weeks. And my legs still hurt so bad. So I'm going to put this into our little messy chalk bowl over here.
The storage, not storage?
Yes, the storage, not storage. Now, I would say like we could write this down on the boards, but these numbers are going to change and stuff like that. So this is what the pad's for. And Jen actually got a mic. She bought a mic, so she was supposed to be mic'd up tonight, but there was one simple flaw with that. The mic was not charged.
I kind of didn't think about that.
Yeah, so we're gonna charge it up for next time we're in here.
And then I'll be mic'd up next
Yep.
time.
And then this too, I don't really pause on these when I'm doing this many reps. I don't like spend a lot of time in the paused position because we're doing so much volume.
Okay.
Ooh, feels like a marathon.
That was a long time holding your breath. Or probably anyway.
Yeah. And what's great is when you're fat, you run out of air faster. Okay, I'm jumping to Eddie. Actually, I'm gonna bring this over here because I'm gonna have to look at this for every time we adjust it. I'm just gonna leave it on our box squat right here.
Well, my left arm is definitely weaker than my right.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to bring a lot of that up. And the thing too is like, we're not trying to go to failure. We don't want to hit failure. A lot of people talk about like the intensity part, like, oh, you got to get 1 rep shy of failure, 3 reps shy of failure, 4 reps shy of failure. You want to go to failure. You want to hit where your form breaks down failure. You want to hit where you hit true failure and you can't lift it no more, or actual annihilated failure where you can't lift it, hold it, or lower it. There are so many different ways people go about talking about this stuff, and to be completely honest, whenever you're training like this, you don't want to hit failure. I never want to hit failure. My last set, I want it to be smooth. I don't want to be struggling for that 5th rep. I really don't. On my very last set, my set of 8, when I'm on my set of 8, I'm going to look at you instead of the camera. Whenever I get to the set of 8 and I'm on that 5, I don't want that 5 moving like, come on. I want that 5 moving smooth like this. I want it smooth as butter. And then when I go up and weight the following week, I want it smooth as butter. I'm never going to jump bigger than what my body can handle, because this isn't, we're not maxing out. We're not trying to max out. We're not trying to do a 5 rep max. We're trying to do 70% of our 1 rep max. 70% of your 1 rep max should be easy to do. And then you move to 75, then 85, and then when you hit 85% of your 1 rep max, you switch over to triples. And then you build from 85 up to like 95%, and then that's it. And then you compete in your meet, right? Yeah, then you'll compete in your meet, and that will be your max out. Then you test your 1 rep maxes and stuff, because the mindset is if you can pull it for 3 on a bad day, you could pull it for 1 on your worst day. If you're tired and you can still pull it, you can still bench it, you can still squat it for 3 reps, no matter what, on your worst day, you can get it for 1 in the meet. And then you're on the board. You're not going to bomb out. Because if you miss a lift and you don't hit it, like let's say you miss your bench, you're out of the meet. You bombed out. You're done. Yeah, you're done. You bombed out. You're out. Yeah, you have to get at least 1 of each lift to have a total, because I totaled the 3 together. And if you don't get a lift, you don't have a total. Right, so before I switched to the other program where I was doing sets of 5, then singles, and then a top set of 5, then the next week 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 2 singles. And this is the way I would train. I would do this amount of volume, and then on my peak weeks, I would do 10, 8, 6, and then I would do 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. And that would be my peaking weeks. Then I would peak from 85 to 95% with that amount of volume. When you go from 10, 10, 8, 8, 6, 6, 5, 5 to that, oh, you're like, that's it. I don't feel like I even worked out tonight. That was like no volume. You feel so much better because your fatigue is down because you're not doing as much volume. So my whole thing is, if you can do 95% of your 1 rep max for 3 reps, your 1 rep max has gone up tremendously. Because if you're like, well, my 1 rep max is 200 pounds, but if you're doing 95% of your 1 rep max for 3 reps, that's not your 1 rep max no more. Your 1 rep max has gone up significantly.
Yeah.
So at the meet, I always opened up with my 95% because I'm going to get on the board. And then my second attempt would be my old PR to see how it felt, my old best number. And then my third attempt would be my new number. That's the one I want. So it's like, okay, let me open up safe. Boom, I'm on the board. All right, let me see if I can match my old number and where is that at? Boom, I hit it. That felt great. How much do I have past that? Do I got 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 40 pounds, 60 pounds? How much do I have past that number? Because now anything you do is going to be a win if you hit your new number. So at least that's the way whenever I was competing, that's the way I did it and stuff like that. And it always worked out for me. Like I always did better and better.
That makes sense.
And move it kind of quick. You don't have to like slop it down, but you don't need to pause and hold. You're just wanting to move it like, all right, you're gonna go up to 50. So put it.
I'm doing 1 more 45, right?
You wanna do 1 more 45? Because you did that first to 5.
That's true. No, let's go back.
Okay, yeah, so let's do the 2.5. You're moving to 50. This is gonna be your first set of 8. Oh man. I hope I don't run out of storage because I totally forgot to clear my cache out.
Way to go.
I think it'll be all right. We're only 17 minutes in. We don't have much more to go. I know they're probably like, oh damn dude, you're taking so much time between your sets talking, shut the fuck up and lift. But it's like, I'm not rushing this, man. I want to be fresh. I want to make sure every set is smooth and easy. One more. Good. Jen, did you just do 10? You're supposed to do 8. I said one more and you banged out.
I was like, he's not counting, right?
Yes, I was. You did 10. You were supposed to do 8.
Something is happening to me in the afternoons where I get this incredible brain fog.
And a 5.
And I do things like that.
Okay. Well, your next set's going to be 8.
8.
You don't want to do too much volume. You don't want to burn it out.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of volume. You're like, well, didn't you just say you want more volume? Well, you do, but like to a limit, right? Like it's a calculated amount. Oh, dude, you don't make no sense.
Get my head straight.
Now remember, when you're lifting, don't look at the bar, look at the ceiling.
I've been looking at through the things.
Okay, yeah, and then try to feel where the bar's hitting, and try
I know
to.
that I can feel some higher. When I'm not looking at it, it's crazy what I can.
Yep. All right, now you're going up to 55, so a 5. Eight.
8.
1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5.
What?
good. Halfway. 5, good. 6, looking strong. Come on. 7, one more. 8, beautiful. Rack it. All right, now I'm gonna go to.
I feel like I hit in my zone better.
Yeah, real smooth. So 95, 105, 115.
So what are we putting on the 25?
A 25, a 10, and a 5. You probably need a little bit more rest. You're not used to that amount of volume. So you might need just like a minute longer.
Before I start?
Yeah, just to give your oxygen and your glucose a chance to kind of like flood the muscle back.
I'm gonna just set
I'll rest a little longer. I'll set the pace. I'll rest a little bit longer for you. Because like, it may not seem like you're using a lot of oxygen, but holding your breath like that, through that motion, you're depleting all your oxygen in your system. So you got to let your oxygen levels return to normal, and you got to let your blood get oxygen in it, and then get into the muscle, and then you got to give your body time to put back some glucose in the muscle to help give it more energy to push it and stuff like that. So the longer you wait, 2 to 5 minutes is perfect for rest periods. Whenever you start doing, so when you're doing like this amount of volume, like with deadlift, squats, and bench, and you rest like 2 to 4 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, you'll start, when you get real heavy, you'll start needing to push like 5, 6, 7 minutes between sets. When you get on your heavier lifts to your 2 sets at like 5 or to your 6, you'll rest longer and longer, and you'll know when you're ready because you'll stop breathing like, right? And then you won't feel like, you know, giving up and leaving the gym. Like, I don't want to do this. I'm done. I want to leave. I don't even want to lift this. The hell with it. I'm done. You won't feel like that. You're like, all right, yeah, I got this. Right, I hate it here, and then and you'll be good to go. But then whenever you switch to your peak, right, you'll take a week off, and you'll come back, and then when you switch to the 10, 8, 6, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, right, your rest periods, it's just like, I don't need to rest. I only did 3 reps. I mean, I'm used to doing 10, 10, 8, 8. I don't need to do this. And a lot of people now are saying like, this is junk volume, too much volume, blah, 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 blah. But it's funny because like a lot of the powerlifters that I used to watch whenever I was much younger, a lot of them would do similar lifts to this, but they would do it like 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, and then they would go down to 5, 5, 3, 3, 3, single. That's how much volume they would do. Yeah, so, and like I said, it's a lot, right? And then it's just like, so this amount of volume, like, I don't feel like it's that much compared to the guy, and they're like, oh, well, their records weren't like, well, look at today's records and today's standards. It's like, well, true, but also look at the drug use today versus back then too. So, and this is more mainstream now. So like back 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you think about how many people were into it. It wasn't mainstream. It wasn't YouTube and yeah. It wasn't. There wasn't about YouTube and Reddit and Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That there wasn't all that really back then. At least not like what it is today. So let's say the pool, you go from 100 lifters, right? And then you have one that can deadlift 600 in a meet. Was like, holy crap, that's amazing. But now you have like 10,000 lifters, and it's like now it seems like out of every 500, of those lifters, they could pull 700 pounds. So it's like, the lifters are better today, the training's better. It's like, well, is it that, or there's a bigger pool of talent now? Yeah. Right? Not everybody could be the quarterback. Right, so not everyone could be a quarterback, but how many people sign up to play football? If you got the whole entire world to play football, to try out for the quarterback, how many quarterbacks do you think you're going to have that are Tom Brady level versus just the select few people that actually play and actually make it to that level? And you're talking about, well, America has 340 million people in it, but there's 8 billion people on the planet. I mean, think about how many Tom Bradys are out there that will never get the opportunity to play because they just don't live in the area or they just don't want to. Yeah. But they have the talent, they have the skill, they just don't have the drive, they don't want it, or they just don't live in an environment that allows them to have a chance to do it. Yeah. So you look at the talent, the pool. How big is your pool? Like you go to a small town that plays football and you get what you get. But then you go to a large town where you got 6 different cities going to this one school.
Oh yeah, you got your choice.
Right now, oh, well, I got 600 students that tried out to play football versus this guy who's like, I need 2 more kids to sign up. I don't care who, I need 2 more kids because if not, I'm not going to have a team. You look at the pool of talent.
Yeah.
So it's just like, is the training better? Are they taking more drugs? Or is it just there's more people doing it and there's talented genetically gifted people?
It's a numbers game.
Right. There's a lot more talented genetic people out there, and they're more and more are coming into the limelight, right?
Yes.
All right, what are you going up to? You just did 55, so you're going to 60.
So 10, no, what is that?
It's a 5 and a 2.5, right? No, you're set ahead of me, right? Yes, you're ahead. So you're going to 60. Is that what I just said? I don't. Oh, math is hard.
I already told you my brain is not working today.
Yeah. Oh, you're set ahead of me. So I did 25. So you're doing 60. So yeah, 45. 5 and a 2.5. In this set, you're doing it for 6.
6.
It's a 6.
Not 10.
Not 10.
6.
6.
Not even 8.
Nope. 6 solid ass reps. 1, 2, 11. Six. Good. A lot easier because you rested longer, huh?
Actually, yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, and we're trying to lift optimal. We're not trying to rush through it. We're not trying to speed race, right? This isn't like, oh, you get extra credit because you worked out super fast. It's like, okay, well, how optimal was your training though? Like, how good was your lift? Because I'd rather spend a couple more minutes resting and have an awesome lift and a good workout than trying to rush through it and get done with it and then have a lousy workout and everything feels heavy and hard. I want everything to feel good. I want to have fun and I want to feel solid when I'm under that bar. And the longer I rest, the better I feel. Plus, the reps are coming down. So it's going to start feeling easier because the reps are coming down. Oh, see, I messed up. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I messed up here. I only wrote down 7 sets.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah.
Cheater.
Yeah. So I got to add in an extra one here. All right. Dang. How am I going to do this?
I just do 2, like I did.
No, I don't want to do 2 with the same weight. It's not the way this program works.
Can you just throw 5 pounds in somewhere?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Or like do this one and then the next one add 5? Or are you just going to go?
I'm gonna go up to 160 instead of stopping at 155. That'll be my top. We'll see how that goes.
It's going to go right.
Yeah, if it goes good, my pec will hold up. If it goes bad, I'm gonna scream like a little girl. I'll be like, it tore.
No, we're not speaking that into existence.
Sometimes I have to be scared. I need the fear to be there, because like if I try to ignore it and not act like it's there, it just like looms around me really aggressively. So the best advice that I ever heard was from Dave Tate, who's also like a hardcore, like he was like an amazing powerlifter, pioneer of it actually. And His whole thing was like he ripped both his pecs and had to have surgery on both pec, but his ripped off the tendon, so he had the perfect tear because they just reconnected the tendon to the bone. His tendon didn't separate from his pec, so it wasn't held to like scar tissue like mine. Mine's worst case scenario. So his thing was like, the way I got over the fear of benching was instead of being afraid of it and trying to ignore it, I just embraced it. I was just like, fuck it, if it's gonna tear, it's gonna tear. And it scared the shit out of me. So like, I just focused on how afraid I was of injuring it and tearing it. And I was just terrified of it. So I embraced it. And then what it made me want to do is get that bar off of my chest as fast as possible. I just wanted to be done with the lift. So I didn't take my time with it. I wanted to get it off of me as quick as I could. So if it was going to tear, it was going to tear. But it was going to tear and I was going to get the bar off of me. So I was just kind of like, yeah, that's the way to live. And that's how he overcame his fear. So I was like, yeah, I kind of embraced the fear, because, and here's the thing about it too. I love this saying, right? Without fear, there is no bravery. You can't be brave if you're not afraid because you're just not afraid. Yeah. Bravery requires doing something that you're afraid to do, but you follow through and do it anyways. So without fear, there is no bravery. So am I saying, oh, I'm brave because I'm laying in this bar? No, I'm about 50% brave, 50% stupid, right? So, because it's like, what do you have to prove? It's not about proving it to anybody. It's just about something that I have to do, man. It's just, I have to do it. It's like an addiction. Like I got to do it. It's like, why though? It's like, because I'm a slut for pain. So you don't understand. Jen, get serious. Come on. Quit playing games. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
That felt wonderful. Okay, so now you're moving up to 65. Give me 2 10s. And this is going to be your second set of 6. Oh, hold on. 65, Jen, 65.
You said 2 10s.
I meant total. So my bad. In my head, I knew what I meant, but.
Well, I'm glad one of us is paying attention.
Right. I said 2 10s, I was meaning like total, but it's, in my head, it made sense. Come on.
6.
Yep. One more. Beautiful. All right, now I'm going. Good. Now I'm going to 145. And this is actually what I was doing the last 3 weeks. So a 45 and a 5. This is the way the gym's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun, right? It's supposed to be enjoyable. What?
Oh, lower back. It's all right. And yes, it is supposed to be fun.
Yeah, you're supposed to enjoy yourself while you're in here. Some guy, don't get me wrong, there's a time to take it serious and be like really like hardcore. I used to be that guy, not with every set, every rep, but whenever it came to like my last 2 sets, when I was lifting heavy, like I would zone out. Like, don't talk to me, don't look at me, don't entertain me, don't say nothing to me. I don't want to talk. All I want to do is just focus on what I'm about to do, and I want to get my mind in a place that is just void of everything, but at the same time, like I'm tunneled in on what I'm doing, but I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing while being in that mindset. I don't know, it's hard to explain. And then right before the lift, like I try to stay as calm as I can all the way up into the lift. And so I just don't want anything. I just want to be calm and just in this state of euphoric of just like, I'm just here and I'm just existing and there's nothing in this world that matters, nothing. And then when it comes time to lift, I learned how to release my adrenaline. It sounds stupid, like what? You can release your adrenaline on command. Like there's a way to do it, and a lot of powerlifters know how to do it. Some guys sniff ammonia salts, like smelling salts, and that'll kind of get you there somewhat. But if you can legitimately learn how to release your adrenaline, which I actually did, there's a lot of powerlifters that kind of explain to teach you how to do it. But the most simplest way to do is think of something that either made you very emotionally sad or very aggressively angry, and then really focus on that moment and try to relive those emotions and then feel that anger come up and feel that adrenaline start to release. And then by doing that so many times, you can kind of learn what you need to do to get your mind there to release that adrenaline. So at first, most people start off with thoughts of anger and hatred. And then that slowly turns into like, I don't even have to think of that stuff no more. Now I can literally just sit here and focus on the barbell, like what I'm about to do. And then the thought of like lifting it, the way it's going to feel in my body, my joints, and then just the aggression that you have to put into it, you can kind of feel your skin starting to like crawl almost. And then you can feel that adrenaline releasing, then you start tingling, and it's just like, I'm there, like I'm there. And like your body just goes numb and light. And then like your adrenaline is, but when you're done, it's like, man, I'm tired, right? Yeah, huge adrenaline dump. And the more you do this, the easier it becomes and the bigger the dump is, but the harder and harder the aftermath becomes, right? The drain is way worse on you the harder it comes. So like I said, but there's a way to do it, but like you have to learn it on your own. There are people out there that kind of coach it, but like once I learned about releasing your adrenaline and learning how to do it, like I tried every time until I kind of started figuring out. Like I said, at first it took me getting angry and mad, thinking about stuff that pissed me off. And at the time, I had a lot of ammunition to think about to make me angry, right? I had a lot of stuff that happened in my life that's just like, I could pick out any given moment of like 2 years worth of stuff, 3 years worth of stuff, and it'd get me there instantly. And eventually, I didn't even need any of that. I could literally just zone out, get up, get ready for my set, and just putting that belt on, just like, and then it happens. And it's a hell of a feeling. It's addicting too, because it's like, you're releasing your endorphins.
Yeah.
It's a rush. It's almost like a drug. And I think honestly that's the reason why a lot of guys get addicted to it, man. They just can't walk away from it. Yeah, scary though. Start feeling that pec move. It's just like, oh. All right, so you're gonna go with a 10 and a 2.5. See, I think like the real meatheads and gym rats will probably appreciate these kind of videos of just ranting and talking while we're lifting. Relatability.
Yeah.
And I think the science guys are gonna be like, well, this is a bunch of bro science and this guy doesn't know what he's talking about and I'm not gonna listen to this nonsense. So I think there's gonna be an audience that's probably gonna find these videos entertaining, the audience that's gonna find them absolutely mind-numbingly annoying. But I don't care, because I just like to go back and rewatch them myself and reminisce on old times. Hold on. Your right hand is out further on the bar than your left. There you go. You're doing it for 5, 2, 3, 4, one more. 5, beautiful. Ooh, you're gonna be so strong.
Touch on that last one.
I know. I saw that. I noticed it. I was judging you, but I just didn't say nothing. So I'm glad you said something. Because like, oh, that no sternum
Look at this
touching
fucking cheater over here.
son of a bitch.
I'm sorry. I'll do it again.
All right, we're gonna go with a 45 and a 10. Oh, getting up there closer, man. Road to 225, and I'm supposed to do. Look at what you do here, Jen. Look at the gap here, because you want to slam it on there.
I heard it.
You want to slam it on there like a hooligan.
I'm just making sure you're paying attention.
All right, slamming it like a hooligan.
No.
Ooh, after tonight hitting this 160, I'll be 65 pounds away from hitting 225 again.
Nice.
Yep.
Not far off.
Not far off at all. It's definitely a huge improvement. We're getting closer. I just don't want to be afraid no more. I hate that fear. Like, I know, like, embrace it, like I was saying earlier, but I also hate that fear, man. I like the fearlessness of just like I'm just gonna do it. I like that, but like, the damnedest thing about getting older, I guess maturing means going through enough shit to have things that do scare you, you know?
For real. 100.
I hate it. You know what? I'm going to put her gloves over here. Danielle brought gloves. I put them here. I didn't even think about it. I'll put them over here, all the straps and wraps and stuff like that. I called her out on them. I said, girl, you wearing those bitch mittens?
I was just going to say.
But she doesn't like calluses, and she says the knurling hurts her hands, but she has real delicate hands, so I get it. That knurling can be pretty rough on some people's hands, and some people don't want calluses, but gloves don't even actually protect your hands from calluses. They soften the knurling.
You just get a callus from the glove.
Yeah, it's still going to callus up. You're still going to have to do callus maintenance, even if you wear gloves and stuff like that. And the reason why I don't like gloves, and I always discourage people from wearing them, is because okay, if you have a problem with your, actually it could go either way, now that I sit here and think about it. So people that have a problem with their grip and want their grip to be stronger, wearing gloves will actually make their grip stronger. Not because the gloves help, because the gloves make it harder to hold on to it. But what do you mean it makes it harder to hold on to it? If you have a bar that's this big around, it's easier to wrap your hand all the way around it, so you have a stronger grip. If you have a bar that's this big around, it's harder to hold on to it, your hand fatigues. So when you wear gloves, it thickens the palms of your hand, which makes it bigger of a grip, which makes it harder to hold on to, so your grip fatigues faster. So they actually make fat pad grips, and they actually make I actually have one, it's a 2-inch diameter bar, because your hand is open up, so your fingers are working individually, and it fatigues the forearms horribly. So if you have a weak grip, by using a fat grip, it'll strengthen up your grip tremendously. But if that's not the issue, then it's like, why are you wearing them? You know, I just don't get it. But
help you.
Yeah, like I tell everybody, they ask what's the best way. Having long fingers is the best way to have a strong grip. That's the first thing. If you have short, stubby fingers with thick, meaty hands, you'll probably always have an issue with your grip, right? Your grip is always going to be your limiting factor. Long, skinny hands, you can,
more surface area.
right? You could grab around, right? So like I tell people, like, how do you build your grip strength up? Take 2 10-pound plates, pinch them together, spread your fingers out as far as you can, and just hold them out to your sides until you can't hold them no more. Do that a couple times. It strengthens up each individual finger. Or if you have hex dumbbell heads, grab it by the head of the dumbbell and just try to hold them. And that, because people do all these squeezing techniques and all these like forearm rolling techniques and these squeezing, but no, it's not about contracting. That's your problem. It's holding. That's your problem. We know you can squeeze, but can you hold that contraction for 30 seconds, a minute and a half? Can you hold that contraction?
When I worked part-time at Home Depot, I used to do that with like the 2x4s, just grab it and hold it.
Yeah, that grip strength.
I'm terrible at grip strength. I shouldn't tell you that, you'll give me like one more exercise.
Nah. It'll build over time because you don't use straps or wraps, so it'll build over time. I tell everybody, just squeeze as hard as you can every time you grab a barbell or a dumbbell. Just squeeze as hard as you can. All right. No tear. All right, you're going up to 75. So you're going to go with a 10 and a 5. And this is your top set right here.
And how many of these?
Huh? What? Yeah, 5.
Reps.
Yeah, five reps. 75. And you have gone up by what, 10, right? Because last week you did 65, you did 60.
65.
That's right. Yeah, so you went up 10 pounds. And you did a lot more volume. You did a lot more work today too than what we've been doing. So like I said, that the load was so light, there was no sense in keeping that low of volume. It's like, really, we're not getting much out of it because if the load is so incredibly light, it's not heavy, and I'm not doing enough volume to really progress on it. So it's like something has to
Yeah,
give.
I always walked away like, man, I could do just
Yeah.
more, so.
So, but my mindset, the program, the way that I was doing like 5, 5, 5, then pull singles up to a top set of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 or whatever. That's the mindset of a much heavier lift and much further than a programming, and your strength is a lot higher, so your muscles are more capable of handling more, so you don't want to put too much fatigue. So you have to have a way to offset fatigue, and the way you offset fatigue is by lowering reps and increasing weight.
Oh, they said weight, increasing weight.
No, yeah, increasing weight. Come on. Yeah. Beautiful.
I'm ready for a meet.
All right, so now I'm going to 160. So that's a 10 and a 2.5. Woo, man. Where are we at?
I'm still gonna write down my top set.
Yeah, I do too. I always write it down. And Jen, you do not have to slam the weights on there.
Oh my gosh,
I know you want to show off how strong you are.
I'm very, very excited.
And I know you want to be like, look at how hard and aggressively I slammed this plate against this other plate. Ah, just the raw power, but it's not necessary.
I just want the people of the world to know.
Because look, this is just as effective as this. I don't know why.
You gotta do it harder with more oomph for it to be more effective.
Yeah, I don't know why everybody does that. Everybody. It's just something about, ugh.
Yeah,
But,
exactly. That's why.
and I have to tell everybody, look, when you do that, it pushes these weights off it bangs them out. Watch this side right here. Whenever I slam that on there, watch what you do, okay?
I didn't do it that one.
You see what happens though? You get gaps.
Yep.
And then that, you know what that does? It throws the weight off. It shifts the weight over. I know it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but I promise you it is.
I can understand why. I apologize.
Don't apologize, just do better.
Okay.
Okay, Dad. Why do you always have to do this? Embarrass me in front of all of my friends? Oh man, this is terrifying.
You got it. You got it.
Oh, no. I don't remember what the heaviest was I benched. I think the heaviest I've laid under was 185 for 3. I think that's the heaviest I've lifted since my injury on a barbell.
This is right now.
No. That was. So in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I got this. But also in my mind, it's like, maybe.
You got it.
All right, come on. I can't be a pussy your whole life.
One more. Noise.
Yes.
No chairs.
That's a successful win. It was like, hey, my guy, you're way too excited for that little bit of weight. Well,
You can do a little bit of weight.
yeah, I'm gonna take my win 164.5. I am super proud of my pec for not giving up.
Just in one pick, 0.
That's right. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. I'm not going to go into accessory work because that's going to be a whole lot more footage I'm not going to get to record. So thanks for watching. And for those of you that made it this far in the video, leave a comment if you like. If not, whatever.
Bye.
Bye.